So what are Einhorn and his Greenlight Capital, what are their positions in GM and Tesla right now?
So he has a pretty big position in GM. He owns 3.6% of the stock, which makes him one of the 5 or 6 largest shareholders. His short position in Tesla is much smaller, but he did call it out in a recent letter to Greenlight shareholders, saying that he puts it in a bushel of stocks that he basically called them bubble stocks, that they're overblown, they're overhyped, and they need something to basically take the air out of these, and eventually they'll come down. He didn't really say when, he didn't elaborate. He did take a little shot, saying that he thinks Tesla's bullish shareholders are hypnotized by CEO Elon Musk and his vision, and eventually the shorts will be shown to be right. And that's his position there. I think
many would agree with him. Let's have a listen to what he had to say, though, because he did speak about Tesla on Greenlight's May 3rd earnings call. And I quote, "The enthusiasm for Tesla and other bubble market stocks is reminiscent of the March 2000 dot-com bubble." So while people might agree that Tesla is overvalued and that, the chief executive officer is very charismatic to some, is that going too far? Is it going too far to say this is a complete bubble as bad as the 2000 tech bubble?
Well, look, Tesla is a very frustrating trade for the shorts for the reason that because it's a car company, the product cycles are very long. So to really prove that the Model 3 isn't going to work, or even if it sells well, it won't be profitable enough to justify this valuation, and therefore you'd see a correction, it's a long wait. The car will be out late in the year, and it'll be out in small numbers. You really won't see it in full production until next year. So it could be a while before you really have a picture of how profitable this company is going to be. So the stock could stay up with the usual volatility and corrections that we've seen from Tesla, but without a really big correction for a while. So there's just quite a bit of time that's going to have to pass before, if it is a bubble, it really does pop.
I'm just looking at the short interest in Tesla right now, and it looks like it's something like 26% of the float is short Tesla. And also have a look at the market cap of both companies. General Motors in yellow, Tesla in white. You can see that at one point Tesla had overtaken GM, and now it's back below GM, but just by a little bit. So what then is Greenlight and Einhorn trying to get GM to do, David?
Yeah, so he has been in General Motors for on and off for 5 years, and he thinks that the company is undervalued because they pay a good dividend, they're putting up record earnings, but they're not getting enough credit for that great dividend. And what he wants to do is split this into 2 stocks, one of which is a dividend stock, and if it pays out the same amount of cash on a smaller issue, you would get a greater dividend yield. That would push up the value for that stock. The other, which he calls capital appreciation shares, would play off of the greater earnings in the company, since GM's been buying them back and plans to buy back $5 billion in those shares this year. As that earnings stream on another, again, a smaller share base, basically adds more value to each one, and as they continue to buy up more shares, that also would appreciate, and these 2 parts would be greater than the current sum that we have, and he thinks it could get as high as $60 a share in combined value compared to $33, $34 today. GM doesn't like this at all.